Good morning. So is January 30, Saturday, the last Saturday of the month. And I'm gonna do a writing slash DVCon blog. Today and tomorrow, DVPed is hosting a online conference for writers. And I have a few panels that I would like to watch throughout the day. Plus, I gonna work on one of my books, especially one of the books that I want to go the traditionally published route. And a little bit later, after I finish this intro, we will sit down and talk about that book. Just gonna grab some breakfast and get ready for the conference to start. See ya later. So, it's a little bit after 10 a.m. The first panel that I want to see doesn't start until 11 Eastern Standard Time. So I have a little bit of time to catch you up on things. So, it's been a long minute since I uploaded anything in this channel. I know I'm being very inconsistent and I'm trying not to, but it's a work in progress, like everything in life. But what I came to talk, this. So this is my notebook for my K-pop book. I specifically withhold a lot of information because it's definitely nothing similar to any books that are already published that are K-pop related or K-pop adjacent related. The reason, and this is kind of like the only tidbit that I feel comfortable sharing, is my main character is a K-pop fan, and that's it. that's the main thing that I'm gonna share, because I know even if other people decide to write a book with a character that likes K-pop, it's not gonna be anything similar to what I'm trying to write. So I don't have to withhold it. But there's a few key things that I do feel that I should hold, because it makes the book special. But what I realized yesterday, which is what I hint on the intro, is I may have to age them up, and it's not like a real age up, honestly. I just have to switch kind of like the setting of it. I was hoping to write, it's still a YA book, but I was hoping it was going to be more of a younger YA. But it's really not. I'm having a hard time writing it as a younger YA. So I'm gonna try and write it for the older YA section, and see what happens. That means that I have to either change some scenes, and some scenes I have to cut completely and rewrite them. And I have almost all Act 1 already written, which is kind of like a bummer, that I had to kind of like sort of start from scratch. But it is what it is. It's what I feel the book needs. I have plenty of pages still. So we're gonna go back to kind of like ground zero and change a few things. Not a lot changes for the characters. Thankfully, a lot of what makes them is still the same. But since I'm changing kind of like the setting of it, a lot of the interactions do change. So that's what I'm gonna be working today. Plus, I'm gonna be attending DVCon, which is hosted by DVPid. If you don't know what that is a organization that tries to help marginalized communities and tries to bring more diversity to traditional publish sphere industry. I'm gonna go and start replotting this book while I wait for the 11 a.m. panel. I'm hoping that I could do all of the replotting today as I watch all of these panels and all that. And I'm hoping, and this is all hoping, because I don't know if it's gonna go that way. I'm hoping then tomorrow I can start kind of like drafting, like zero drafting kind of thing. Because I was hoping to have this book already done by mid-March, was it? Let's see. By the beginning of March, honestly. I was supposed to write, one of the biggest bulk was supposed to be in January, but it really didn't happen. It was, at first it was like pulling teeth, and then I just didn't want to write it. I kind of like fell out of love with it, with that specific book, and then I just let it simmer in my head, and that's when it reached into that realization that maybe I'm just forcing the characters to be too young, and that's not who they are. They're not that young. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that, and hopefully I can start drafting. If not, my aim is to completely plot it this weekend so I can start drafting on February 1st. And I'm gonna do a match dash to write it in February and March. I still don't know what I'm gonna do for April. I don't know if I'm just gonna take a break and write another thing while, I don't know, or if I'm just gonna give myself a week and then start like revisions during April camp. I'm not entirely sure. It's gonna depend on how tired of drafting I get, cause I got other things that I need to draft that actually have deadlines. They're not publishing related, and job hunting too. And it's gonna tag season start soon, and I'm just gonna stop because I'm gonna keep rambling. Yeah, see you in the next clip. So quick update before it's time for me to jump into the next panel that I want to watch, which is about voice. You're gonna be a little bit shaky because I'm holding you with my hand and I'm trying to be very fast. I don't have a lot of time. So a little bit of an update. I rewrote my profiles just to make sure that I have my characters fresh in my mind, who they are, how they look, what makes them tick, things like that, what they like, they dislike, things along that way. And I have like shorter profiles for the side characters. Additional to that, I started writing what I wanted the book to be about, and I just wrote a bunch of things that I wanted it to be about, and then I sat down and kind of like wrote a summary / blurb of if I was already a written book along that way. It is not good. It is not something that will be in the back of a book or anything else or anything like that, but it tells me what story I want to tell. And I can tell you, the moment that I wrote it and I read it, I got so excited again. Like, I'm so excited to write this book. So now I just been listening to the playlist that I already have for it and just doing a scene brain dump. I usually do that because a lot of the times I have like a bunch of scenes in my mind that I don't know where they go, or if they go in the book. So I just dump a lot of those, and once I dump almost everything that I have in my mind, that's when I start then like Act 1. Okay, what are the scenes in Act 1 on the brain dump? And sometimes doing that, more scenes come into my mind. So that's what I'm working right now. If I keep on this track, I may be able to do it all today or most of it today. So who knows? This panel that just started is, I think, is the last panel that I'm interested in today. So after that panel, I have the rest of the night for myself to work on this. So probably I will give you an update later when there's no light. It's just gonna be artificial light. So yeah, I'll see you in the next update. Sorry for the bad lighting, but I just wanted to get a short clip before I go to bed. Is a little bit over past 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, and this is what I wanted to record this clip. I'm tired. I'm already super sleepy. You can probably see it on my face and my eyes, because of work I had to change my sleeping patterns to be awake during the day. But the problem with that is I get very creative and I get a lot of ideas when it's late at night. So I've been almost the entire day struggling to kind of like write down all the different scenes that it has been percolating in my mind. And then it just hit 11:30 p.m. and it just, in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, I jot down like 5 scenes. And it's one of the biggest like obstacles for me right now is having to work on a schedule that doesn't allow me to be awake when I'm most creative. And I struggle with it a lot. I'm trying to find jobs that either are a little bit more flexible or are a little bit late, or maybe looking into how like multiple part-time jobs that will amount the money that I need to live, that will give me the flexibility to stay awake on the times that I'm creative. So I can finally get this book and many other books that I have outlined waiting for me to write, because I don't only get the creative what is the word? I don't only get the creative juice for outlining, I get it for writing too during the night. I can do revisions and editing during the day, but if it's a lot of heavy creative lifting, my best time is at night, and it's at late at night. So yeah, I just wanted to just short clip just to record this, so I have patience with myself, grace with myself, and know that it's not a one-time, it's not a one-time thing. It is how my creativity, how my process works. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Morning has been spent just participating in DVCon and in this Sunday brunch panel, which was so inspiring. Highly recommend to go either Twitter or on the website so you can watch the replay. Beautiful, beautiful panel, very inspiring. So updates. So yesterday I was able to redo my character profiles. I check the scenes that I already had, and decide if anything was solved, if I could save anything solvable. Sadly, there's very, very little that I can use for this new draft. I got my wants, needs, fear, conflict, all of that said, and I have 3 pages of scene brain dump. So one of the things that I do almost for all of my, I do it for all of my web stories, and I realized when I was looking back I didn't do that for this one, which could have caused why I have to rewrite it. I do a brain dump of all of the scenes that I have already in my mind. It may end up in the story, it may not end up in the story. Some of them are actually end up being beat scenes, some of them are not. A lot of this ends up being on Act 2, because this is what I will call, a lot of it is just scenes that cater to the promise of the premise. So all of the cool stuff that I want to write, that's usually what ends up in the brain dump. So yeah, I did that. I actually did a kind of like a brain dump for the plot. Like I wrote all of the possible plots, and I realized some of them could kind of like interlace, and that's why I mentioned that once I kind of like wrote a summary, like a very, very bad blur, I kind of, my excitement got back, because I was like, okay, I know what's this story about. I know what she wants to, I know what her story wants to be. So, and today, while I waited And sometimes in between, like some moments while I was listening to the panel, I started to kind of like plot out my opening image. I really had to kind of like think about this a lot, because I was like, where do I want this to start? Where, like, what situation I want to start in? Where can I introduce the current situation for my main character without being so info dumpy? So, and actually, it was a scene that is on my dump pages. I was thinking it was something that was supposed to happen later, but once I kind of like think it through, it gives enough information to know where my main character is starting. It gives you a glimpse of the conflict. It does a lot of things in just one scene. And it's gonna be thinking about kind of like how I wanted it to end. It makes sense that I started here, because where she ends up is gonna be pretty different. It's gonna be a better it's gonna be at a better position. Starting here, this is the best way. Starting where I'm starting, and thinking where I wanted it to end, it will make her growth act a lot better. So yeah, now that the panel in, I'm probably gonna kind of like look through the Discord and see where I can chime in while I started thinking up setup scenes, because I'm looking at my scene brain dump, and not a lot of this are setup scenes, so I gotta think on those. Hopefully by the end of today, I'm hoping I can finish all of the beats so I can start drafting tomorrow at the latest. So yeah, by the end of this video, you will know if I was able to achieve that. So I'll see you guys later. So let me quickly do a update. I'm just losing words today. I've been like chatting in the DVCon Discord chat. I've been brainstorming a lot, and a lot of the kind of like the outline scenes, I kind of like, sometimes I put a little bit description, sometimes I put a little bit of a dialogue, like it's a mix of a lot of things. But I think the last update that I did is say that I already have, if I finally settle on an opening image. So throughout the day, and it is 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was able to outline a few setup scenes. While I was kind of like outlining the setup scene, the team stated scene came into my mind, and I quickly jotted down. Catalyst, once I got into it, funny thing is my catalyst remains the same. It's in a different setting, and it's gonna develop a little bit different, but the same event is happening on the previous alliteration of this book and this new version. I'm still working on the debate scenes. I don't know if I have like more than just the two that I have, because the scene that I have in my mind, debating if it's a debate scene or if it's my break into two scene. I feel that it's more my break into two scene, because it's actually was gonna push her into the rest of the story and on act 2. So I think I just I just told myself that scene is a break into 2. So yeah, I'm almost done outlining act 1, and then I'm gonna go and start outlining act 2. The cool thing is, since I did a scene brain dump, a lot of those scenes are scenes for the act 2. So I should technically go through act 2 a lot quicker. Act 3 might be the hardest one, because I know what my final image is. I figuring out how to get there after I kind of like figure out my act 2, because I have a lot of fun and game scenes, but I don't know exactly how my midpoint is gonna look like, and usually I feel that I having the midpoint tells me how my fun and games and my back guys closing looks like. So I'm gonna work on those. Hopefully I will be able to come back and give you a little bit of an update with more of these outline scenes checked. We will see. Hello, this could be the last update of the night. So I think last thing that I said, it was that I was very close to finishing Act 1. Well, I finished Act 1. And besides adding a few scenes for the Dark Night of the Soul, I finished Act 2. And honestly, people, I mean, you might think, oh, she went through Act 2 very fast. Again, a lot of the brain dumb scene that I do, a lot of that is scenes that go into Act 2, the middle of the book. Because usually I come up with kind of like a concept or something specific that I want to write, which ends being a premise or the premise of the book. And usually the Act 2 is where you have fun with the premise and kind of like explore it and stretch it for the readers to enjoy. So usually most of what I imagine and most of what I kind of like brainstorm ends up being things for Act 2. So technically most of Act 2 I already thought about it a few days, like throughout Saturday. So that's why I was able to go through Act 2 pretty quickly. I did have a kind of like hard time with my midpoint. I had an idea what I wanted as a midpoint, but I only confirmed that the midpoint that I was thinking was working when I realized what was my all is lost. My all is lost scene. Once I knew that, then I knew where my midpoint had to be. Because if you have read Save the Cat, or you have studied any outline, kind of like any style of outline, you either have to go from breaking to 2 to the midpoint going up and have kind of like a victory, and then everything falls down until you hit like the worst case scenario, like the lowest of the lowest of your character, so that they can actually make the change they need to be, so you can push them to act 3. Sometimes it's like it's going really bad, and then something really bad that kind of like sets them back happens on the midpoint, and then the other part they start to getting better, getting more information, things start to look up, and then boom, something really bad again, lowest of the lowest for your character, so they can actually make the right change, so they learn their lesson, so they can go to act 3. So I didn't know if that block of the section of act 2 was going to be upwards to a false victory and then down, or if it was going to be going kind of like down to a false failure and then going up and then messing everything up and crumbling my character. I wasn't sure what kind of hills and valleys I was going to do for that section, but once I figured out my all is lost moment, then I knew what my midpoint had to be. That kind of dictated what my midpoint had to be, and it also helped what scenes should be on the phone and games and what scenes should be on the bad guys close in. So right now, I just need to add a few more scenes for the Dark Night of the Soul, because I know what my break into 3 is. And this is something that I knew my character had to do to start changing herself. This is the moment that she decides to be like active, like proactive, to change and to be better and be the person that I want her to be at the end. I already know what break into 3 is. Again, just need a few more Dark in the Night Soul scenes, and then we're full on act 3, which, if you know about Save the Cat, writes a novel, there's like a 5-point finale before the final image. So that is what may be a little bit harder. I know what my final image is, so I'm probably gonna jot that down first and then start working on this. Most likely this is gonna be the last update, unless I have massively progressed during writing the outline, because right now it's 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard. So I don't know if I'm gonna do any other update, and I want to edit this and post it like in the next few days. And even if I don't end up outlining the entire act 3, I'm gonna start writing this book starting tomorrow, February the 1st. I'm gonna challenge myself to write this book in 2 months, February and March. So yeah, most likely, hopefully, this purple sticky notes are gonna start coming down. Yeah, if this is the last clip, I'm gonna close it as if it's the last clip. If not, I will just chop it so it will look like I will edit it so it looks correctly. So thank you for watching. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to know when I randomly post, subscribe. And if you prefer to get notifications, hit the bell. Hope you find my rambling updates interesting. Will keep updating you guys once I start drafting. I'm usually a little bit more active on social media like Instagram and Twitter. My handles are on the description below. Or you can find my handles on my website, which website is down below. But if it's easier, it's just estherandújar.com. ESTHERANDUJAR.com. Once again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, night, whichever time you are watching this video or whichever time zone you're in. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.